Boy, if you got that reference, put it in the comments. Hey, it's great to see you. Do you like Sarah's sweatshirt?
It's not pink.
It's lightish red.
It's a beautiful morning with the Barbershop Duet.
Hi, I'm Marcus Klinger with Klinger Vocal Studio.
And I'm Sarah Vincent with Sarah Vincent Virtual Pilates.
But on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
we are the Barbershop Duet.
Hey, it's great to see you.
Yeah, if you're here during one of our live premieres, come join us in the chats. We'd love to talk to you. There's people from all over the world hanging out.
Yeah, they'd love to meet you. Some of them are having a beer or two if they're over in Europe where it's beer o'clock. And hey, throw a like and subscribe on there for us. We'd appreciate it. And what's our mention today?
Our mention today, speaking of a Stirling day, I tried to find one with a pink label on it. But we did get a whole email that was just about their bar soaps. They don't have a shave soap, nothing connected to it, although some should. But this one, I decided to pick
Angel Rock, if you're listening.
And then Sweet Apple was kind of a pinkish reddish.
Beautiful. There was a banana one. There was a pineapple one. They were $4 for this giant bar of beautiful tallow soap. I'm not sure how they do it, but it's where value meets quality over there at Stirling Soap. And a beautiful crisp apple. I even got a little bit of the peel.
I know, and it says sweet apple. Like it is. It's one of those like pink lady ones or something. I don't know which one it is, but it's good.
A summer apple, y'all. This is not your fall apples, your autumn apples. We know what those smell like.
No, the sweet side of this definitely
early summer apple, y'all. So we're having a great time in our shower right now with our pineapple bar. It's like having a Dole Whip on your pits. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
And what's our soap today?
Our soap today, if you didn't get it by a little of our lightish red, pinkish fun vibes, it is the lightish red soap from Stirling.
Y'all, it is the only scent that I associate with a parking garage. Let's meet the soap. All right, y'all. So from the sales page at stirlingsoap.com.
It's not pink! We've had requests to bring this scent back ever since we took it to the Dirty South Wet Shavers meetup in 2017. It's a bright, woodsy fragrance for men.
Inspired by Abercrombie Fierce. And y'all, in doing a little bit of research, we ran across a fantastic article that was written by Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's called The Untold Story of Fierce, the white hot fragrance that defined Y2K. Y'all, there were frags, and then there was fierce. This was something that not only defined a generation, but insisted on it. Let's open the box.
I think we're finally getting the last soap and splash out of this box.
This is the last one?
This was a long list, y'all. I think we're finally getting...
Look at this lightish red color on the splash. I don't think I've seen that color.
Oh, and even inside on the splash itself. But isn't that the coolest color? I don't know. I mean... It may not be pink. It's maybe lightish red. Y'all can decide. But it's a super fun color.
We need your help. We think we discovered what the lightish red is referring to. We think it's this funny little viral thing from a Halo video game clip, which I used to play with my friend Ryan because I was too scared to play with the general public.
Y2K thing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like that. But I think we'll figure it out as we roll merrily forward today. Let's have our first impression.
Making Marcus go first.
All right, y'all. This is the first time, I think, in the history of this show that we have done a scent that I know super well. We live near a town called Emeryville, California. It's where the Pixar studios are. And just around the corner from the Pixar studios is Bay Street. It is a big shopping complex, and they've got tons of places to like sit
outdoor
outside.
Shopping,
where they've got the 30-foot Christmas tree every year, and it's just kind of where the fun was happening for 10 or 20 years around here in the East Bay. So there was, of course, an Abercrombie & Fitch store on the second floor, and I'm not sure if it's still there.
I don't think so, but I know which one you're talking about.
And y'all, when you got out of the flippin' car in the parking garage, you got hit in the face with Fierce. At least I think.
Yeah.
I think
we're going to find out if that's the same one we're thinking.
So I know this scent backwards and forwards because we would go there once a week for a long time.
But it's been years since you've smelt it.
And no matter where you were in the entire complex, it wasn't the See's candy you were smelling. It was the Abercrombie & Fitch. And we have a little bit of insight as to why. Because we were able to drill down a little bit into the policies that Abercrombie & Fitch had for their employees and the scent when they were putting the store together every morning or throughout the day. We'll get to that.
Every hour they had
to that. But y'all, this stuff flowed like water. So I know it scent really well, and I'm really excited because Y'all, I have learned that the Stirling homages are solid gold level homages. I have even gone to some dupe houses and gone back to the Stirling EDTs, y'all, because they are more beautiful for me. So,
all right.
Let's see what this does. A little lightish red in the morning. I'm excited. Here we go.
Is it actually pink inside? Because that'd be brilliant. Oh, it is!
You know, I think green Irish tweed is a little bit green, and I had that affirmed for me. I don't think I'd get thrown out of bed for saying this is a little bit lightish red for me.
Brilliant.
Right, here we go.
Thank you for the touch. That's
okay,
wonderful.
I'm going to imagine I'm pulling into the garage.
Right. In 2000.
I'm getting out of the car. Here we go. Oh, y'all.
Is that what you remember?
This is 95% exact, and that other 5% was what I didn't like about it in the first place.
Oh,
there is just a little bit of a whitening up of this, a little bit of a brightening up at the end that gives it a little bit of a green-white note for me that the original didn't have. The other 95% of this is exact. And if you didn't have the same parking garage experiences that I did, I don't even think you would even be able to tell the difference.
Interesting.
This is stunning. Wow. Wow. Yep, there's just one tiny kite string holding it down that lets me know this is a little bit better than the original.
Okay, and then I'm curious, because this was meant to be a little more on the masculine side. But since we smelled so many things in between, would you still throw it in that category?
You know, here's why I think my nose, and I'll get to this story at the end, I think this is why my nose was originally super attracted to this set, because in the pendulum of the scents, and it's funny because we just reviewed Et Tu from Bathing Stardust and Accoutrements, a Brute homage. And one of the things that I sort of realized in that is that was one of the first places back in the 60s where there was a divergence, where the colognes didn't go tobacco, patchouli, leather, dark, musky, spicy. They started going this other way, this beautiful citrusy, clean direction. And the pendulum started to swing. Y'all, right about 2000, when like Le Male and those things had sort of opened the doors for the lighter masculine fragrances, the pendulum hit its peak at this scent. This is as light and beautiful on the lighter spicy sides as you can possibly get, while it is still technically masculine. I think if you had taken it one more step, it would have gone into definitely unisex or even into the female realm. But no, I think this had a way of stopping at exactly the right moment and being that goalpost that was the outer limits of what masculine and light scents. Now, the intensity is strong. That's not what I mean. I mean, like the brighter scents. I think this is the pinnacle of that. And I think it was done beautifully. And as we'll get to at the end, my nose was super attracted to this when I first smelled it because it did everything that I was hoping these scents would end up doing in the year 2000.
Because even back then when it came out, on the bottle was a dude. But I do remember a lot of the girls being like, I want that.
Dude with that V.
Showing the
the opposite of this. That's what was on the original label.
Yeah, and I feel like I remember the store too. Like there wasn't a way to really see in the windows. It was kind of like this kind of beach hut clubhouse secret vibe,
it was kind of this secret club for people that worked out too much.
Yeah, that one. Okay, but I am curious because I was trying to remember the last time I was in an Abercrombie & Fitch.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while, and I want to say it's at least like 15 years is probably. But the last one I was in was actually in Tokyo, which was kind of trippy because I'm clearly in their world, but the store is like kind of a total twist back to like what we had here. And it was 4, 5 floors. It was insane. Like you got an elevator and it was just every tier was like a different floor. Wow. And I remember the sales rep guy that I went with and he was like, no, we have to go here. You need to see what they did with Abercrombie. I'm like, dude, we don't need to go to Abercrombie. No, we did. And it was literally, it was like you were watching every floor was like a perfect presentation of what they really thought Southern California or like we were all like. And so it felt weird for me to be in their store. You know, and I'm like, but I'm curious if that smell, because I do remember being like, wow, this is just like Abercrombie. I'm curious if that smell is bottled up.
For those of you unfamiliar with the Abercrombie experience, it's the only time I ever saw live mannequins in the window. So just like half naked dudes in shorts and shirts actively ignoring me as I walked by. It was a thing. It was a thing.
I totally
live mannequins. That was their job.
Models to stand in the door
for the next 2 hours and watch everybody go by. All right, here we go. Take this in.
Let's see what Lionish Red brings back for me.
You're going to know this.
It is totally a pinky color.
So instantly.
Oh, funny.
What do you get?
Yeah, okay. I clearly didn't know as many people that wore this. It represents the store vibe to me than it was like people around me.
I don't think I actually knew anybody who wore this.
I don't think I did either.
Right. Everybody I hung out with, this would have been too expensive.
Yeah,
this
same
was
here.
like 120.
But I do remember it being like, now that I'm smelling this, like you didn't even have to hit the store. You could be like 5 stores down.
Seriously, in the parking garage, the door's open and you're you're hit with it.
It's almost like so clean that it's too clean?
Right.
Could that make sense?
And that's why I loved it. It's like that pendulum, could that go any further before it becomes something else? No. This is the absolute outskirts of masculine, clean, bright, white fragrances.
Right. And it was, I mean, I know reading through that article, you can definitely go back and look at it, but their goal of the scent was to like define a new generation and try and be able to be more confident and masculine, but for the younger crowd. And it is interesting to smell this now as an adult instead of like a young teen.
So let's reinvent it. What do you get from it now? Are you able to divorce it from the Abercrombie and Fitch beginnings?
I don't know how it can be so crisp and so clean. It comes off as like a powdery clean, but there's no powder in it. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't have that barbershop-y powder clean, and it doesn't have. it's probably a type of a floral, or something.
And as long as we're on a Stirling episode, a little bit of an essence of Queen of Hearts.
But
in the green that I'm getting.
In the green, not with the sweetness.
No, not with the sweetness. Totally different. But the green, I think, is a little similar.
And there is something just tiny bit sweet at the bottom to keep it from getting too brisk and clean.
Right.
And there's probably some sort of a greenish thing, but I'm not getting. It's as close as it could be without being an aquatic. Like I'm getting fresh, clean, oceany air, but it's not aquatic.
And do you sense that kite string that for me improves this? That for me doesn't leave you with it so light that it makes you a little bit nauseous and pokey. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you're a little bit hungry. Those scents that have that little light pokey note.
Because I remember that being in the store, and it was too overwhelming for me. Like I couldn't be in there very long. It was too.
If I was showing up for lunch in Emeryville and I was really hungry, that was not a good scent for me because there was something in the syrupy sweetness at the very end that just poked at my hunger, but not in a gourmand way, and it kind of made me a little nauseous. They changed it. That's gone. That very last wisp as it kicks you in the butt on the way out is a little bit different, and for me, it's way better.
Okay, let's lather this up because I'm not sure if it's even just in the soap base, sometimes that can like dictate a little bit of the scent, but maybe if we bust this out into a lather with our Stirling brush,
of course. Introduce our 24mm Stirling brush that I just introduced for you?
Yes, and it's just the perfect little size. We like the little one.
It is lightish red.
It is. It's completely lightish red.
Ron and Mandy love us so much.
It's very genius marketing here, but we were very excited to see it.
Yeah, and with our softer soaps, I like to use these Vanillé honeycomb bowls because I can really press the soap into those little nooks and crannies and then spend a good 4 or 5 minutes getting them back out again gently and completely with my brush here. We're going to bougie this up. Oh, there's stuff coming off of just this.
All right, sweet.
Beautiful.
That's what I was kind of hoping, pushing to do the lather first. Before we go look and read any scent notes, I think there's something that'll come alive in here.
And isn't it funny that this is a masculine scent?
Right, because to me it is. It really does represent more of a generation and like that kind of part than I do actually picture a dude wearing it, which is funny.
And, as we were talking about right before we shot this, one of the ways that Abercrombie and Fitch decided that this was the version that they wanted was it literally had nothing else that all of the masculine colognes had. In fact, I think you said it was like the base that they were starting with before they put anything else in it.
Something about the perfumers that were mixing around things and trying to decide to send it in to be like, okay, let's get the vibe of what they want.
And there's an Iso Super in this. If you know what that does, it's meant to just sort of smell like and amplify your own body chemistry to meld with the scent is in this. So that, y'all, it's just kind of like, this is meant to just smell like you, improved, stronger, somehow more masculine without any of that. Well, it strikes me. It's almost like that generation shaking off the previous generation. Because there's nothing in this that harkens back to colognes that were super popular even 5 years before it came out. This is a huge U-turn and divergence.
And there was a list in there, you can go look at the article, but there was something talking about how, as a perfumer, they knew that their audience was different, that they had to come at this scent in a different, stripped-down way, because it wasn't going to be the normal clientele necessarily. It's for a whole store brand, it's a very different vibe. But what I guess had happened is, as they were sending some in, what they call a base is kind of like the base notes of the scent. And so I guess when they sent the few options in, the base actually went with it. So they looked at 4 different scents, and one was the base, and that happened to be what they picked. So they just added some toppers, and that's what it is. So it wasn't even really like meant to be a scent, but it was what they wanted, you know?
There is a gorgeous and intriguing list of scent notes that I am glancing at right now. Let's
are you
read
cheating?
them. All right, y'all. So this is the Plenty of Spots on the 4th floor whiff. Ready? 1, 2. Okay. Oh.
Yeah,
that changes quite a bit.
It does. That's why I wanted to do a lather before we really read, because I feel like this is more the Stirling vibe coming through.
This is more like the parking garage, more exactly. This is more like a nice shaving soap.
Right. This is like if I had no idea that this was an Abercrombie & Fitch anything. Like
I might not even find it in there.
Right, okay, but seriously.
Okay, but hold on.
Yeah, just take one more little, because there is something much, I don't know, cleaner still. It's a little less in your face. I don't know. The potency is very strong.
It's less in your face, but it's less.
The pokiness is less. So speaking of scent notes, we should take
a peek let's look at somebody has scent notes off.
All right.
Fur. See, y'all, this is going to be different. This is going to be so different. So wait a minute. Hold on.
But fur. Here, smell for it.
Oh. Yeah.
It's just light enough to keep it like a creamy side.
Right. Just that beginning of a wisp of like pine sap. Just the very beginning of that sort of
But it's kind of creamy in my mind. I don't know why. And then lemon, orange, citruses, cardamom.
And then petitgrain. So a little bit of the rain scents, a little bit of rain on leaves.
And then
sea at the top. SEA.
Which there was something in the article that talked about them adding like an ocean breeze scent. So maybe that's like the Stirling vibe.
Yes, of course.
But then there's more. Don't get too comfy here. Ready? No. Rosemary.
Oh, hold on, wait. Because rosemary.
This is where it's getting complex.
Y'all, rosemary, when you smell that, you know it's in the room. Hold on a second. They've kind of like hidden it.
Yeah, but there's so much more. So,
I know.
rosemary.
Okay, keep going.
Then lily of the valley.
It's a nice valley.
Jasmine. Rose. And sage for the middle.
And sage in the middle. Y'all, like a beautiful white sage, maybe?
Yep. It must be.
It's a masterpiece.
It's that crispy, kind of clean. And then, don't worry, there's still a base to go over, which is composed of musk, vetiver,
a little bit,
oak moss,
yes,
rosewood.
Yes! That's what's giving it that base, but keeping it light and masculine.
But mixed with sandalwood. So it's the rosewood sandalwood kind of combo. Everything is just so crispy clean.
But sandalwood can be sandalwood.
Right.
So this is a really lighter, creamier sort of sandalwood. And y'all, I don't know if your halo suit would help, but we're going to take this down a few ramps. All right, y'all, so this is an excerpt from The Untold Story of Fierce, the white-hot fragrance that defined Y2K.
A&F worked fervently to make sure that people were inundated with the fragrance, including those who worked in the stores, were put on, quote, spraying duty. Alex, an employee at the Westfield Topanga store between 2007 and 2014, remembers the task being, quote, insanely specific.
Instructions were as granular as, quote, doing 3 to 5 spritzes on each of the mannequins and 1 to 2 spritzes around the room every hour. As to whether or not this was fierce overkill, quote, honestly, you just became so immune to the smell if you worked there long enough.
Julie, an employee at the South Street Seaport store in the early 2000s, vividly remembers the scent. Quote, we were required to spray the out of all the mannequins and the, quote, atmosphere throughout our shifts, especially when greeting or putting the folded clothes back out on the floor. We also had to wear it.
Eventually, Abercrombie & Fitch flagship stores installed automatic scent spritzers that were timed to unleash fierce on a schedule. Wow. It was an effective process that propelled the scent much further than the store's famously shuttered windows.
Wow. So that's why when we got to the garage, you could smell it, because clearly it's been consistently pushed through.
So y'all, this is the only kind of retail store I know that really went hard with your sense of smell. And somehow I think there was magic in it. Somehow I think that's what worked for them.
And I think later in the article it mentions that. Like, it's like it became an identity. That smell represented the store. So every time you smelled it, you'd think of the store. And it would just kind of interlace with the products and stuff. And it does have a little pink to it, I think,
so here we go. This is the parallel whiff on 3, 1, 2.
Oh, there's something a little sweeter in there, right?
And tamer.
Yes, that is a great word after reading how the scent works.
Yes, wait.
Are we going to be blasted out of the store?
A little tamer.
I don't think so.
Oh, y'all. This is nice. Oh!
And I think in a splash, honestly, it just has the right... Let's let it dry down. There's a little menthol
in my eyes.
But there is something a little more gentle than I was expecting. I gotta admit, knowing we're talking about a frag here.
Y'all, this is gorgeous. And this is not the Fierce that I know from Abercrombie & Fitch. This is a way better version of it.
And there's something sweeter in like the rosewood.
Right.
Like there's something, I know it has, this pinkish hue to it.
Yes.
But I am getting more, instead of the bright, white, blinding scent,
Right.
there is something a little pinker and more gentle about
the
this.
Sweetness has been toned down completely in this splash. It's not pokey at all.
But it's way more sweet and pinky on me.
Y'all, I just kind of get that this is a relative of Fierce, but sort of a nicer, calmer, more accepting.
Right, a little more timid, let's
wow,
say.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying.
That's totally different.
There's no poke happening in here. Like, we were talking about walking to the store and it gets too pokey and overwhelming. I don't get that here.
All of the poke has been removed.
Yes.
Here.
Interesting.
Right, it's different.
Right, and even going from
I wonder
here.
if this was reformulated a little bit between the soap and the splash.
I don't know.
Because this is super, super reminiscent of the original. That's
is
a
new and improved.
beautiful Rod and Mandy filtered version of it.
I'm with you.
I like it better.
I do have to say.
I like it better.
The menthol actually adds a really fun vibe.
It's like they've updated it.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like, this doesn't hold the 2000s vibe for me. This holds a 2024 vibe for me.
Again.
Like a unisex vibe.
Like, so what I was asking you earlier, if you smelt it here, would you have known that this was Fierce? Same thing smelling here.
That I would. This I don't think I would.
No, there's something fun and new.
I'd be like, this reminds me of it, but there's something else to this.
Right. There has definitely been 25 years-ish since
and
that.
I don't think it's anything new. I don't think it's a new ingredient. I think it's in the balance. I think it's how the scents have been balanced in the fragrance oil.
There is something a little more gentle and sweet and inviting about this.
Did we get the bar soap?
We should. I think this is his third round.
I'm
You're going to have
more.
menthol in your face.
Wow. Of all the scents, I would have thought that when they were at a really nice, solid intensity, that they would have been too much. This isn't. I almost can't get enough of this, even though it is super intense, beautifully so.
I know this kind of like, we were thinking about, like, is it going to be too overwhelming? Is it going to be too nostalgic? But smelling it there, no siree. Like, I feel like you'd almost want, like, the EDT of this.
It is a subtle update. Oh, Hunter, is there one?
Oh.
So it's pretty simple, y'all. On your Xbox 360, just spend a few years bulking up your Halo statistics, and you're going to unlock a beautiful, lightish red suit. Now, some of the boys on your earpiece are going to be yelling at you that you're wearing pink, but you know better because you just got your own. Head over to stirlingsoap.com, where you can find this and a wide range of other products. Well, I've had my shave, y'all, with lightish red. And one of the things I figured out in this journey is that not all dupes are created equal. Some of them are going to be really great representations, some of them are going to be really great twists and turns on the scent, and some of them are going to be, well, pretty good. Y'all, one of the things I've come to appreciate about Rod and Mandy's nose is that when they do a cologne homage, it is not only super representative of the homage that it's homaging, but the twists and turns that it's given when it passes through the Stirling filters are always charming, always improvements, always modernizations, always a perfect fit for the shaving world, and I appreciate that. The lather too, y'all. I love that it is a thick and foamy and sticky lather that does not clog my smallest razors, and I love that too. Hey, y'all, thanks for this. Welcome to Messages.
So our friend Craig from Opus Brush sent us both of these brushes just so we can have a giveaway for you!
Y'all, these are absolutely beautiful, and all you have to do to be eligible for our giveaway is to send an email here to WeSentYou@theBarbershopDuet.com so that we can get back to you. Be one of our subscribers here on YouTube. Check out Opus Brush on Instagram. Maybe give them a follow. And then check back here on our episode on July 1st, where we are going to draw our lucky winner on the show. They get their choice of brush, and the other one will be given away on an Instagram Live with Craig himself at the end of the summer. So, best of luck, y'all.
And back to the article. No matter the branding, the scent still smells of popped collars, MTV's Spring Break, fake tans, Dawson's Creek, and the OC, the tent poles of millennials' adolescence. Wow,
Y'all.
2000s right there for you.
So, having been a giant fan of LaMail, which I actually purchased 3 doors down from this Abercrombie & Fitch
fun
at
fact.
Sephora,
Okay.
when I first smelled this, I went into Abercrombie & Fitch. I was kind of looking for this. But it became really clear at the beginning that I was not the type of person that Abercrombie & Fitch was looking for, which is part of what that article is about.
Yeah.
I was fat. I was probably in a Disneyland sweatshirt. And it didn't matter what I did for a living. It didn't matter where I was on my way to. I was not their demographic. And they made that very clear. So I never felt like I was worthy of wearing this because I didn't fit that beautiful, perfect mold.
Nope.
And I thought I would be made fun of for smelling like this while completely not fitting the mold that it was supposed to be illustrated.
Yeah, even think of the picture on the bottle. Right. Like, it's clearly stated, you gotta look like this with your washboard abs.
By the way, that bottle no longer comes with that picture.
They changed it.
But, Rod and Mandy, you do want me. You do want all of us, in whatever form we crawled out of bed in the morning, just because we're us, and just because we're willing to face this weary world with nothing but a little lather scent on our faces. So thank you for giving me this scent in a way that I really feel like it's mine, and I can wear it and smile and be proud, because I know where it comes from. And I know they like it.
Right, and then adding this humor of lightish red and just taking it and reframing it as a scent that we can enjoy and not have that stereotypical vibe to it. Like, now it has this Stirling signature little thumb and love print on it, you know?
I'm finally gonna really enjoy this.
Don't forget your next appointment with the Barbershop Duet.
You'll smell better just watching this!